Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the Games Industry Executive Summary. This is Casey, and happy Metal Gear Solid Delta Day today. It's a big day. I already got my collector's edition pre-ordered. Gonna go grab it a bit later today. But before I do that, let me introduce my guest friends, co-hosts, and partners for life in this amazing podcast. We have the Dashing Dave Thier,
Here to dash.
back from Gamescom.
Yep.
And, of course, the analyst, Manu Rosier.
Hello.
Welcome on board, gentlemen.
Good to be here. As always, good to see you.
Dave, last week, I really appreciated your flexibility. We had an amazing episode, just breaking down Gamescom and everything that is happening there. And then, of course, I got the chance to, maybe that was the first time I met you in real life, Manu. I'm not sure. It feels like it was. Yeah.
I think so.
We were running around crazy, but we did find like a moment. But yes, gentlemen, we did say it's Metal Gear Delta Day. And Manu was just, before we started, he was talking about there was something on a technical level that is not working properly or something like that. Is that correct?
Yes. I think on PC at least it's not there yet. It's the Unreal Engine, the usual suspect. So that the game will probably suffer from that. And I've also read that on PlayStation the frame rate is not always very stable. Yeah. And
Let's see how the users say it so far.
Mm-hmm.
If you want mixed reviews, best way to do it is to have bugs on your PC version. Oh, wait, is it not on PC? I thought you just said PC.
It's on Steam, but you have to.
Oh, it's Delta. There, as in the sign. It's not called. Yeah, they haven't spelled it out. I got you.
Yeah.
It's very positive, but we might see that shift as more people run into bugs.
Don't forget, you only see the reviews from your country now. That's the big
Yeah, that's right. Or language, which actually does make a difference. Because I'm in the Netherlands, but I'm reading in English.
Do we know anything about how true they have, kept it in terms of like gameplay? In terms
of
okay,
they even kept the bugs apparently.
they even kept the bugs. That's interesting.
The performance of it's just a joke from some reviewers. But yeah, no, it's a. I just finished Silent Hill 2, which I highly recommend, and I'm very sad because I don't have this kind of games to play. I've played all the I have all the Resident Evil remakes and things like that. Alan Wake, Evil Within. I feel like I'm running out of these horror games, but I felt, oh, maybe I can try a Metal Gear. But it's €80 on PC. 80.
But I
So
got
I'm in a my Steam is still registered in the US, and so I'm seeing it $70 right now. So in euro, that's down to like below 60.
I got the physical one, like the collector's edition, for like 95.
PC or PlayStation?
PlayStation 5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is too much for me. €80 for a day one game. It's just too much. But I'm glad if they sell a lot of units. I'm glad for them if they sell a lot of units. But the thing is, there are websites, legit website that would sell keys. If you go to Is There Any Deal, you could find that for €60. But I thought it was a thing of the past in the sense that you could have PC keys, which were basically package version of the game, where they would take the code from the disk and sell it online because they would buy the disk version, the box version in countries where the price is lower. I think this happened in the past in Poland and some other countries. So it would make sense, but right now I'm not sure how they managed to get it so cheap. Or they obviously they removed the VAT, so it can be 20% for France, which is technically not acceptable from a tax perspective. You're supposed to pay the VAT, and Yeah, and what I've noticed through the years that you had less and less publisher that the games were available for a cheaper price than the official game through this website. But here it seems still to be the case. So I don't know what's the loophole here that maybe EA and Ubisoft they've closed with time. But it's interesting. And the crazy thing is that if you want to buy the game at the cheapest possible price, you can have it for 26 euro as a new Steam account.
Wow.
As a new Steam account. Okay.
What does that mean? Like there's some kind of new user bonus or why?
No, I think they are opening the Steam account where the price is the cheapest in the world. And also they're probably laundering money. That would be a combination of the two. Yeah. Or laundering or using stolen credit card numbers and things like that.
Yeah, digital goods are good for that.
So Manu, I did write to you in the chat, but I will ask you, why don't you just deduct everything from work, because you're doing research basically.
It's not a topic I want to address in this.
Okay, fair enough. Gentlemen, there are two awesome topics that we'd love to talk about today. One is related to Hollow Knight Silksong. Both me and Dave, we were walking the hallways. You might have noticed the same thing. One of the biggest lines that I saw was for that game, and they had actually two showings, one at the Nintendo booth, and then they had, I think, either a private showing or part of another publisher.
Nintendo. They were attached to Nintendo.
And then there were two things that happened that I saw in relationship to this game. I believe it was Peak developers writing, "Hey, enjoy this new update until Swan launches." And then now you also, of course, shared with us the story at Demon School, which is another indie game. They are moving away from that release window. Is that what I understand?
Mm-hmm. The GTA of indie games.
By the way, yeah, go ahead.
Hollow Knight is reaching the level of the Switch 2 of I don't want to hear about it anymore because we are talking too much about it. It happens sometimes that like there are things that becomes everyone to talk about it, and it's like gonna change everything. And yeah, I'm to the point where just get over with it, release the game, and then we can move on with our lives, because it's taking way too much media space, if you ask me.
Hasn't the game in development for like 5 years or something like that?
Sorry?
7, I think. 7 years?
It took 7 years to develop, but yeah, people have been talking about it for a while. I'm not saying it's not a great game, but sometimes there is the proportion of the media attention for certain game is way too high, and it's a bit sad that everybody has to adjust their release date because of that. I'm not even sure it's gonna block people from doing anything else. But yeah, let's see how it goes. The good news is that it's in 1 week, so we will know very, very quickly, and then we can move on and keep talking about GTA 6 or something else.
Well, and then the other good news is that this is definitely not a live service game, right?
Yeah.
People are going to be playing it for 2-3 weeks, and then they'll play something else. So if something is going to dominate the conversation in a way, at least it's good that it's something that can just sort of get people jazzed up about the general idea of video games and then go buy another one, as opposed to a Fortnite or a PUBG.
And I think it also showed that it takes years and iteration to build an IP. So I think it's good to see so much hype for the follow-up game. Nobody is complaining that it's just another game of the same IP, This is the kind of thing sometimes that's being said against the big publishers, that they keep milking the same IPs. But here in this case, it's not really seen as a problem. Like, why they're not doing a new game instead of doing a follow-up to the previous one?
I mean, I think you'll probably, who knows? Hollow Knight 3 could be another 7 years off, but you often see, I think, it's not as common anymore because you don't see this particular pattern, but like Assassin's Creed is a good example. you often see like, or even like Star Wars, like, people are super excited about the first one, and then you get a little grace for the second one, where you can refine and you can improve and you can release a better version of the first game as the second one, and that's often kind of the apex of hype around it. And then the third one struggles because people are going to be a little less excited to do something in the same format again.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's when you might see that, if people are playing their cards right, that's when they might have to push things forward or in a different direction a little bit while still managing it, which is a tough thing.
I have to ask, have you both played the game?
Silksong?
Yeah. No, the first one.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Beautiful.
So you finished it. You're familiar with the title.
Yeah. True ending. Beat the Moth Queen. All that.
Okay. What I would love for you both to kind of like enlighten me. I've only played like I think half an hour. The art is probably the thing that didn't captivate me as much. I think in the beginning of the game everything's black and white. Maybe that's part of that, or I'm just getting old. But I would love for you to explain the uniqueness of the game, why you find it interesting, and then I have some follow-up questions as well.
I wasn't touched by the game, so I played maybe 10 hours or something, and I could never go back to it. So emotionally, I'm not really involved. So maybe Dave has a better perspective.
Yeah, I call myself emotionally involved. I really like the game. For one thing, the art, did do it for me, and that's one of those things. It's either going to do it for you or not. I think the beginning is not black and white, but it is a very limited shade palette of blues, basically, very unsaturated blues, if that's the right word. But I think that there is, you talk about all these games that emulate Dark Souls. We'll just, use the point of comparison that everyone does. People emulate a lot of different things about it. They emulate the difficulty. They emulate the system of having to retrieve your souls, the saving system, all things like that. And you see some mechanical stuff there. But really, a big heart of that game is this sort of overpowering sense of loss and sort of this idea of a heroic striving in the midst of crumbling sadness, and the beauty of a lost world. And Hollow Knight does that, I think, better than anyone. Maybe even better than Dark Souls. It's got the vibes, and so that for me is the core of what makes it so captivating. Is that they really nailed the feeling of this world, and then the world itself is super interesting, right? They do a great job of using this cartoony art style, of having this kind of Disney-esque animation, which should by all rights be silly, but is presented so seriously and with such care that it's only silly in the right ways, because it's not. It is silly in some places, just like Dark Souls or Disney, anything like that. But it feels so kind of present for that reason. And then then there's the basics of just mechanically. I think mechanically it's a really really well put together game. I think it does. Given the time frame that both you guys played, I do think that it gets a lot better, as most Metroidvanias do, once you begin unlocking sort of the advanced movement mechanics, the air dash and the wall kick in particular. Then you are just a little more mobile, and it's more satisfying to play. But all those sort of basic things about how it feels to play are really good, and that extends through some of the boss design. For me, I think there's a lot of other games that are satisfying to play, a lot of other games that probably reach this level of mechanical sophistication and satisfyingness, but the vibes are what set it apart.
I was more of a fan of Ori, I would say, in the Blind Forest. If I had to choose between the two, it's just more personal taste.
Yeah, definitely related. I think I would choose this over Ori. I never finished. I think I got like 3/4 the way through both Oris.
Yeah, my brother swears by this game. For whatever reason, I'm obviously we're looking at the footage at the same time, and it's still not grabbing me. Even though obviously I'm a believer in gameplay first. So let me then move on. by the way, thank you, Dave, for breaking it down. I would love to hear from you then. So this hype train. So 2 questions before we go into the hype train. Do we know why the second game, took so long?
There was a Schreier article recently about it. It seemed like it actually took so long, like for totally not bad reasons. They're a small team. They got plenty of money. They don't need more money, so they didn't staff up to do it more quickly. They kept the focus on their core people, and they had fun with it and tried to make the best game they could.
I guess it might not be about gameplay, but more about the setting, the environment, and the story itself and the atmosphere that they want to keep without that it looks like a DLC probably.
Mm-hmm. And also in that little teaser thing, it said they had 40 bosses, which is a lot of bosses.
Got it.
Yeah.
I think. I mean, I do see this as a mistake with some studios. I mean, obviously, in this specific case, there is some luck involved, and there is this ever-growing hype around the title. But is it a mistake maybe for studios to not, like, if you're successful, to follow it up and on that success so that people don't forget about you?
I mean, it clearly hasn't happened this time.
Yeah. No,
yeah, they sold 15 million units. So I think they have enough budget and money to have a happy life. Also, there is not this kind of constraint, I guess. I guess everybody has a financial ambition, different financial ambition, and maybe they had a higher artistic ambition and financial ambition, and they decided to wait.
How much is it? How much is this game normally when launched?
Not expensive, 20 or something.
Right now, it's almost
20 or
6-7.
30 when it launched.
Yeah.
Silksong should offer some guidance as to that.
Okay,
wait,
so
there's not even there's not even a price for the new one.
Have a look at this, by the way.
Not on Steam. Here, I got my Switch here, except it couldn't connect to the internet for some reason, so never mind.
Look at this, by the way. So this is the first game. But wow, even as a non live service title, it had like 10,000 people concurrent playing every day for the past 2-3 years. That is pretty crazy.
And I would say this is not on its primary platform. Switch is probably its primary platform.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, here it says almost 10 million average just on Steam, so you can easily double or triple that across all platforms.
Yeah, and I mean it's 27 hour to complete, 65 hours to 100% complete. So it's not like a small game of 5 or 6 hours that you like a typical quick platformer. It's a longer game. It's more of an RPG type of playtime than a platformer. 27 hours is massive when you think about it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for a team this size, especially.
No, absolutely. Okay, so let me take you to maybe the final question, and then I'll let you guys decide if you want to continue talking about this. But so please explain it to me, or rather distill it down. Why are people hyped about the sequel to this extent, or why is it like taken over almost on the indie side of things?
Yeah, I think it's interesting because it sold 15 million units. That's one reason. You have a lot of people that have played it and that have liked it. It's not like most people that played probably liked it. But I was thinking you had It Takes Two that sold 20 million units. And there was some hype for Split Fiction, but not that much, maybe because it was not the same game. I'm sure if it was not called Hollow Knight, you wouldn't have that much of a hype. So I think that's clearly helping. And other than that, I don't know, because they've not created that hype themselves. I think there is probably a tipping point where you keep increasing your fan base through the years to a point that the people start forgetting about you. But probably in this case, because they've also announced that game so long ago, there's kind of this constant expectation that it's going to release soon. I think if they had been silent for 5 or 6 years and just came after and talked, that wouldn't have the same impact that, say, only after a few years, hey, we're making the next one, just wait. And then people have been waiting for years for this one. So the I would say not, they didn't that on purpose, but the marketing campaign was quite good through the years.
I would say there's a couple of reasons also. What Manu was saying earlier about the media narrative is super important. That there's a story here, right? And it's a story of a game that took a really long time to make, that people wanted, like on a super basic level. And the nice thing about a story like that is you can update it continuously. You can talk about it every time Nintendo has a direct, because people are curious about it and they want to know more. And you can keep it in the mix. And people continue to like want to know anything about it. They want to know what's happening. And so when people see attention being driven, they just keep going with that. And I think that's a huge part of it, is that it entrenched itself in a media narrative in a way that was rewarding for influencers and outlets and everyone who's talking about things. And so at that point, in media, you're just trying to do whatever you can. And so at that point, it's working. They're going to keep going with it. That's one. I think also it's reaching out to us from a different video game industry. Right. This is before Hollow Knight is before Fortnite. It's actually not too quick on the heels of Bloodborne, which I think is, Dark Souls was a big deal, but Bloodborne is the one that I think kind of catapulted the Souls-like to a different level, and that's when you started to see a lot more copycats come out. And it's an early copycat. Not copycat. It's an early game that sort of tapped into the thing that people were seeking out of these Souls-like games. It was able to capture a larger portion of attention for that reason. And again, it's coming to us from a different video game industry where it was, you weren't shouting into the void quite as much. You were still shouting in the void. It's not like this is 2008. But you weren't shouting into the void quite as much. And so I think it was easier for a game like that to stake out its claim at that time. And once that claim is staked out, you still kind of have it, even though the industry is so different now.
By the way, I just was browsing two things. That the game launched February 2017. So this is absolutely like a couple months before everybody got to know what Battle Royales was.
Yeah.
And then I noticed here, this is an Australian company.
Mm-hmm.
So good for them. I mean, they're putting Australia on the map of games again. I'm not sure if there are other studios we should pay attention to, but
yeah, Lego's down there. That's cool. If you look at the Gold Coast, there's a lot of studios that evolved from Half Brick, which was a real dominant Australian studio.
Got it. And any final words about Hollow Knight, or things that you, I guess, are looking forward to in the next one, or what are you excited about?
I'm curious to see if I can maintain my addiction to Dune Awakening after it comes out.
Huh. Cool. I saw your, by the way, Dave, your monthly takeaway was really cool, and I love the ending there where you wrote, "Oh, and then what are you playing?" And then you're like, "Dune Awakening," and I forgot what you wrote, but like it's a one-liner, like what else to say, or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. It's honest work, and there's not much more to say about it at this point.
Yeah, I love that. Thank you for making that read entertaining. Okay, gentlemen, let me then move over to the next topic that we have, which is Roblox. Roblox, the past year, I feel like, has been getting more and more media attention, for better or worse. And I feel like since we started the podcast, it's almost like a month or two in, and we started getting stories. In the beginning, it was a bit about fake player counts, etc. Now, obviously, there's an explosion, and then there are some games there that are grabbing a lot of attention, which is Grow Your Garden, and now there are new things happening related to the smashing or the record setting of concurrent players on any platform, if I'm not mistaken. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
But gentlemen, take it away. Let us know, like, what is it? What is happening on the Roblox world?
Roblox is a platform. Roblox is a platform. Roblox is not a game. And I think some people don't get that yet. I like the fact that they're saying it's a platform in the same way that Steam is a platform. So a concurrent to Roblox is Steam. It's not one other game. And I think people need to get that. And you see the trajectory. I saw some graph comparing the concurrent player of Fortnite versus Roblox, and Roblox is clearly winning that battle. Fortnite is way too dependent on its own content, on the seasons and events and things like that, while Roblox is just growing organically and it's just, it will keep growing. And at some point, I think so many active user is probably bigger than all the players on Xbox, you know? It's just when this platform becomes bigger than the whole Xbox install base, for example.
So you're saying Roblox should release hardware?
No, I'm not saying. I'm saying that people that are interested in making money in video games should stop focusing too much on PlayStation and on Xbox.
Maybe, I mean, would you say that Roblox doesn't need professionals to work on it? Do you know what I mean? Like professional, like third-party professionals, because
they need creators. Some of them are professionals.
Exactly. It's like YouTube doesn't need like I don't know, Fox to make movies on it, as an example, or whatever.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
they grow a garden. I wonder, was this an amateur or was this a professional? Splitting Point Studios.
No, they were recently acquired, right, or purchased, or something like that.
Yeah, it's looking like I'm getting the feeling that Splitting Point Studios is a professional operation, obviously not like something on a AAA scale, but like a professional operation. And I think that these people gravitating towards Roblox because there's money there have elevated the platform, definitely.
What was the split again on Roblox? Was it like 15% or less?
Of what?
The split, the rev share with creators.
Good question. Which would be higher, when you think about it, is higher than Steam. Huh? Steam royalties is like 20-30%. So here they have a business model where they can just get a bigger share of the revenue generated by experience. So it's a good business model, to be fair.
Yeah, and it is a different platform than Steam, right? Like, you know, we've seen people try and compete with Steam by releasing a game elsewhere. It usually doesn't work, but it is like a viable thing to try and compete.
Mm-hmm.
But that doesn't make any sense here. Roblox, you can't release a Roblox game anywhere but Roblox because that's just what it is.
So that's a good thing. It's the other thing, and I think that's why it will probably beat Steam at some point even more. It's everywhere. It's on any platform. It's not just PC. It's any portable platform. It's on PlayStation. It's on Xbox. So it's hardware agnostic. Is it what we say?
Yeah.
It doesn't care about the hardware.
Yeah.
Steam is still very much locked into PC and even like portable devices, but still PC OS and everything. While Roblox can run anywhere on any computer, any laptop. There is zero hardware friction for the Roblox experience, which is very different. We just discussed about Metal Gear Solid and the technical issue because of the Unreal Engine. And I think Fortnite and in general also have higher standards of hardware, while Roblox is just, Roblox is like Minecraft. Roblox is kind of the what Minecraft should have been. But Microsoft probably didn't feel it was so important to support the creators in the same way that Roblox is doing that. Microsoft was just happy to sell the base game, and it's also not that big of a business for them compared to everything else. But I think Minecraft should have been Roblox.
Yeah,
Well,
definitely a missed opportunity there.
Which the monetization is so different, and Microsoft has a lot of guardrails to keep Minecraft from becoming Roblox, which I think it's just really tricky because obviously Roblox has these problems that people talk about, and that would have been harder for a company on the scale of Microsoft and the visibility of Microsoft to pull off.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Especially, and also Minecraft was an established thing before. So when you talk about all these branded experiences and these sort of hyper monetized experiences, those did not cooperate with what Minecraft had been, and so I don't think it ever would have been as comfortable in that platform as it is.
By the way, just to confirm, like these records that they're breaking with the concurrent players, how credible is it?
It's they share that, I think, or I know there have been some discussion in the past if they are not inflating. I think they were inflating maybe the accounts rather than the concurrent players, but I don't think the concurrent players at this point are fake because they are coming from different sources that have access to the API.
I will give them one thing. I think so. Obviously, kids with infinite time, especially the kids who are maybe between 4 years old up to 15 or something like that, and then the access to devices. You mentioned that already. I will give them one thing that I think a lot of other companies are, and I understand it because I used to do it myself. So a lot of companies, if it's the Call of Duty, the Battlefield, or even the Fortnite, who have this major wall or gate system. Oh, give us your email before you can even do anything on our platform or our game. And I think Roblox, if I remember correctly, a couple days ago or so, maybe a couple months ago, sorry, I could create an account and jump in very quickly. There were some limitations in some areas, like the type of game I can play or something like that, or some games required me to be a registered user, or rather a properly registered user. But the registration process is so much easier on Roblox versus these other platforms. And maybe that's one of the, if you hand your iPad to your kid, you're not going to sit there for 10 minutes and try and fill out details, which is just annoying for parents. That could be one of the things that is helping them as a platform to grow.
Yeah. Remove friction, it's very simple.
And my guess is that zero friction also contributes to some of the problems that people have talked about. Another reason why it would be difficult for a more visible large corporation to have established this in the first place.
Yeah, though I would argue, Dave. I mean, these problems or these, I feel like in this specific case, when you're talking about so many people coming in, they're so small in comparison that maybe it doesn't matter in the bigger picture. I would love to hear from you about do you know anything about the monetization on Roblox? Is that something you are familiar with?
I mean, it's basically up to the players or the user, the creators. Sorry, Manu.
Yeah, I'm familiar with my kids asking me for to buy them Robux, to buy stuff, to buy mostly cosmetics.
And here's what's funny about that. And maybe it's time to jump over to the other story related to this. My kids have never asked me for Robux until recently.
What was the game?
Do I have to tell you what the game is? Come on.
Grow a garden?
Yes.
There you go.
Okay, before we jump into Grow a Garden and what's happening right now, because there is a lot happening right now, I would love to hear from you about, do you feel like the design, because I'm having discussions with some people, and I think maybe it's older generations of people in relationship to games and fairness in games. And in Roblox, where in this game specifically, and I'm sure there are other instances in other games where you can pay your way to cheat, to steal, to lie, or whatever it is. Do you have any thoughts about that?
I mean, yeah, it's just cultural change. We saw this happen a lot earlier in Asia, where people were more comfortable with that kind of thing. And I think that Asian culture is leading the way in a lot of ways for global culture. Younger generations clearly don't care as much about that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was asking my kids. Sorry, Manu, do you want to say something there, or?
I don't think there is a cultural change in the Western world regarding that. There's just more players from culture where it's acceptable rather than just the I would say the moral value changing in other countries.
I was asking my kids specifically about in Grow a Garden you can actually steal other people's fruit if you pay. And I was asking my kids about that, and they were like, "It's fine if it's not like one of the super rare like things that they have. Then they feel like it was fine if somebody steals something from them."
Yeah, I don't want to lose nothing. If someone took my cobalt paste and do an awakening, I'd be pissed.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Then, gentlemen, let me move over to the other important topic then related to Roblox. So there is.
I mean, just one last point. In some games, some online games, if you pay more and you get better stuff than others, you can also steamroll them and steal their stuff. That is just the mechanic is the same. It's just whoever has money have more power in all these live service games. So here it's just like not hiding behind like progress or items or stuff like that. So it's a shortcut, but ultimately the players with the investing the most in some live service game, free-to-play live service games, are the ones that have.
And we keep on pushing this up, but to add to that point, like that's true in any live service game where you can pay for non-cosmetic stuff. But I would argue that's even true of like it's not just a money problem, right? Anyone who has the time to put 10 hours a day into a game can steamroll you. And I don't really care if I'm being steamrolled by someone who paid for it or someone who ground a full-time job doing it. I just don't want to be steamrolled.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I worked on the game Command and Conquer Tiberium Alliances online MMO, 2D type game, and in that one, it's pay to win more or less. But that was more except I think in this specific case, it's so in your face in terms of like, hey, do you want to pick this fruit? Pay this much to steal that fruit, kind of thing. Maybe that's one of the things here that is rubbing people the wrong way. But okay, how about you tell me about the Roblox wars?
Nothing. I was not even aware of it. I just saw that. That's interesting that they put two experience into. It's a bit like you have these three streaming wars, or like TikTok live, where you have one against the other, and it's like a popularity contest basically. And yeah, I've not even looked at what is the brain rot stuff.
Yeah, my daughter
do the research.
I don't really know what the structure is. My daughter definitely plays it. I think it's an extraction game.
I've not seen my kids for the past 2 weeks, but I'm sure I will be updated today.
Steal the brain rots from other players to earn more money.
Yeah.
I don't know what the. Oh, it looks like. What's that game called? The one where you are like putting on different clothes and getting points and shit.
Fashion Famous.
Famous, something like that.
Or the other one. I can't remember which one's more popular, but one of those. But I feel like this is probably, we see this stuff all the time. Probably one of the biggest examples of it recently is Barbenheimer. Just sort of a fake competition that benefits everyone ultimately.
I mean, was this a planned thing or just like a random coincidence? Like, is it a collaboration?
I feel like this is usually a combination of those two things because I mean, it could have been purely planned, but it's often difficult to do it like purely planned to like generate that excitement. But like my guess is that some people were doing some stuff and then people noticed and tried to juice it up.
Mm-hmm.
Are you guys aware that there is something happening this weekend on Roblox? I don't know what it is, but this is the first time, at least my kids, because we know it's very easy to find the information about, oh, shit's happening on Fortnite this day and date or whatever, and then you go in and there's this concert thing. But my kids were telling me that something is happening this weekend on Roblox.
Maybe because of the start of the school year, they just have to do.
Let me see if I can find something. Roblox event in August. Here we go. There is actually no. This is an investor relations thingy.
Yeah, if you Google that, you will come to that. Yes.
That's not going to help us in this conversation.
No.
Okay, how about then? I'll make it easy for you, gentlemen. Is there anything else you'd like to talk about in relationship to Roblox specifically? Are there any other things that you're seeing from if it's a trend or if it's a?
No, I mean, I've already posted a lot of news about Roblox. I think sometimes when they break record or something really significant is happening, we can talk about it. But we could talk about it each week, but we probably don't have to. And just so you know, so last week, Newzoo released their paid global game market report to their client, and there will be a free version of that report coming in September. And we've looked at 5 special topics that we think are relevant today, and one of them is Roblox. So we can have a look at what we release publicly in 1 week or 2. Yeah, it's coming.
So
9th of September.
Sorry, for those who are interested, sorry, Manu. For those who are interested, you can just go to newzoo.com, and then at the top there's a banner, Newzoo's Global Games Market Report 2025. There's a free version, and you can just sign up right now to get that thing.
Yeah, we have a lot of good stuff there that we can talk during one of the incoming podcasts.
Absolutely. Looking forward to it. So this is September 9th, which means we can potentially do it on the 11th or the 12th, rather.
Yeah.
Okay. That is appreciated. Anything else, gentlemen?
Let's go.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Maybe there's only one thing. So, by the way, there is maybe 2 things. I'll just mention it quickly. Helldivers 2 hits the highest Steam player count of 2025. This was recently, I assume. And then
they did a big collaboration. Was this a Halo or?
Yeah, they're breaking records on the Xbox side of things as well, as they recently launched. So congratulations to the team. It's pretty amazing seeing how they have been able to sustain and grow their user base the past year or so. That's one thing. The other one I would like to mention is, or Dave, rather, in your article, you did not mention. I'm not disappointed. I'm more like very curious to hear your thoughts. You did not mention at all the kind of like domination almost. That's at least what I felt of Asian-based studios on the show floor.
Yeah, it's. I guess that's probably true. I mean, I wouldn't say it domination. I know it's other things. I think it's very hard to dominate Gamescom at all, just because it's so big. Like you could dominate E3, that was possible, but it's very difficult to dominate Gamescom. But I do think that the large presence of lots of Asian publishers, it speaks to a different culture over there where this kind of thing is still very important. It speaks to a different fan culture, which it encourages a lot more merch buying, and so a physical location becomes all the more profitable for that reason. And then I think it also just speaks to Gamescom's slow movement towards the center of the gaming industry, that it is the place for everyone to be.
Yeah, I was interesting to see to read what you wrote about the comparison with the GDC also. I think there is more room for professional event within the Gamescom. I think there is the DEF CON happening a bit earlier. But it's interesting, and I agree. There are things that never change. The cosplay, they don't change. The pillows, the goodies, all these things, they never change. What changes is who's the publisher that decide to put the most marketing money in its booth, and then I think what's interesting is there is clearly a disconnect between the size and the quality of some booths and the actual revenue they're going to make out of that game. So I'm not sure the best decisions are being taken in terms of marketing money when I see some of the booths over there.
Some of this stuff is fun, Manu. It's more
always been a
for
question.
purposes.
Yeah, but shareholders, they don't care about fun, They care about money and profit. No, they
That's
care
why-
about profitability.
That's why you should keep your studio private.
Exactly.
Or company private.
Yes.
Yes. Okay,
My
but
studio is so private, no one even knows about it.
yes.
But as a visitor, I'm glad to see that some people still feel like it's important that you have something that really is in the DNA of your brand and of your IP and of your game. It's like, oh, let's build a castle because I'm doing a medieval game. Or let's build a futuristic factory because my game is happening on Earth in 200 years from now. So I like that. I'm just questioning the actual profitability of all of that.
No, I think that is absolutely fair.
I always remember the long time ago, GDC for that Homefront game where I went to a North Korean prison camp themed party.
Mm-hmm.
In the US, not in Korea.
Not in Korea, no.
Yes.
I remember that there was
even more distasteful.
Yeah. Was it not Guerrilla something? I don't remember the name of the game, but I remember something about this.
Or okay, got it.
What was interesting is that so PlayStation is not there because PlayStation can do their own show online. Xbox was there, but I felt Xbox both was very underwhelming. It lacked verticality. It was very grounded. It felt less impressive than a random Korean or Chinese publisher. And Call of Duty was there, but was not in the Microsoft booth neither, which I find was quite interesting to see
Activision
that.
seems to be having their own thing going on still. But I will note, I think Xbox over the past 4 years, Gamescom, have their footprint on the show floor have been shrinking. Okay, so let's end with this then. The most impressive. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Now, the presence of Netflix and of, I think, Paramount
Yep.
Studios is also something new for me to that extent. And also the absence of Epic and of Fortnite. I don't think they were officially there. And Roblox was kind of small. Roblox was just one small booth.
Yeah, it was an event thing.
So the footprint of the Gamescom doesn't reflect the footprint of the players. There's a clear disconnect between the size of some booth and the actual players and the revenue being generated. So I found it interesting.
So I agree with you about the ROI part, and I would like to highlight. I still feel like there is a lot of value, emotional value, in connecting with your audience, and the ROI you will probably most see effects on in the lifetime value of the person rather than the here and now output for some of these brands and as we're going digital, and obviously, I mean, I buy physical games, and I do believe this is maybe the last generation where we will have physical media in consoles at least. But I do feel like, I mean, we know games like Warframe, they have their own physical event that they do. EVE Online, I believe, also does, people go to Iceland for their events. We don't hear about them because we're not fans or we're not involved in the communities there. But I think it is a mistake of some companies of not utilizing, especially when you have infinite budget for you mentioned Epic as an example. I think from an emotional long-term relationship with your customer, I think there is value there.
Yeah, but who's the customer?
Yeah, that's the problem. it's only like 200,000 or 300,000 people that are visiting this, and if you are not on the ground, you will never notice this emotion. So that I think that's probably the challenge there, unless you have a game that's really resonate in the German market, like a farming simulator. I think I totally understand that farming simulator would have a big both there, because that's probably the number one market. But then it's yeah.
Okay, gentlemen, it's been real fun talking to both of you. I really appreciate this. If you have reached this space and time in the episode, please do subscribe, like, do the bells and whistles and all these things. We'd really appreciate it. And we hope to see you on the next episode. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, thank you. Bye-bye.